Hey, this is Mike at Badgerhead Games, and I'm just streaming um, live on Twitch TV, giving it a try again. My plan is maybe to do some tutorial videos on how to make um, games, I guess, and just at least to show people my development process, which is very hackery, not very professional, self-taught. So um, I don't know where that other music's coming from, but anyway, my so I am working on right now a Defender game, and you can see I put up a YouTube video. I'm just watching this YouTube video from Silky's Arcade. Thanks, Silky's Arcade. I don't know. I think I'm going to subscribe to them because it looks like they have a lot of other old school arcade games. But as you can see here, this is Defender. Make it full screen. Basically, it's a spaceship that you're kind of going over land. If you hit the ground, you explode. But it has very vectory graphics. But you just fly side to side. You can fly up and down, but you're not forced to go back and forth. You can kind of control your speed and stuff like that. And you fly over the landscape, and aliens are attacking Earth, and there are a bunch of random people below. And the aliens try to abduct people. So if you go through and destroy the aliens before they abduct people, you get extra points, and you can drop the people back down on the ground. Has kind of an annoying laser sound, so we probably won't include that. The basic, this game is impossible, by the way. If you try to play it in the arcade, it's pretty amazing. I think it has two buttons, left and right buttons, instead of a joystick, and then another button to shoot lasers and another button to shoot bombs. Cool things about it, it's got kind of a cool hill background and sort of a sparkling star system in the background. And then the enemies are actually really vicious. They start off kind of stupid, just floating down trying to thing, but you can see that one there kind of goes right after you, and after a while there's a lot of those. So, and well, after a while, I mean within 1/4 you're pretty much getting chased around by very fast moving, as you can see, enemies. So I'd like to create something like this. It's one of my favorite arcade games. It really fulfills my need for extremely impossible, unfair video games. I think this is kind of neat, and it still fits in the space genre that I like, but it's also very 8-bit. I probably will change it, obviously, to make it my own. And it's not going to look exactly like this, of course. I don't want to just recreate Defender. We can probably find a Defender arcade somewhere around here. I like the mini map. I'm probably going to recreate that as well using a second Unity camera, and doing some fancy stuff there. We'll see how that works. And it kind of gives you an idea of what the battlefield looks like and where all the bad guys are. Um, and we'll probably do something with preventing alien abduction or something like that. But I was also thinking of having ground targets, so maybe putting in mechs or something like that, that the aliens have on the ground, and we'll see what we can do. We've got a month, so we'll give it a shot. So I've got my Twitter page up here. If you haven't already, definitely subscribe to Badgerhead Games on Twitter. Follow me, and that'll be cool. And let's see. So I don't even have Unity actually open right now, but we'll open it up and check it out. So I've got a couple things here. I just put in the new version of Pro Builder, which you're thinking, why would you need something like Pro Builder, which is a tool to help you build kind of 3D first-person shooter worlds and vehicles and things like that in Unity, without having to use Blender and stuff like that. But I like using it for all sorts of stuff. It's actually faster for me to build something with Pro Builder than it is to open up Photoshop and try to use a line tool. So maybe we'll do some more landscaping with that, and I'll show you how I did it. But I can show you on my screen how I did it. Right now there's only a couple scripts. There's shift controls, Maybe we can build one of these from scratch again, and I can show you how to do that. These are super simple. In fact, some of this is just copied right out of the Unity manual for input get access. If you did a search for input get access, they'd give you basically this script, and it basically is just a script for if you hold down a key, it will move them left or right. This particular script, I modified it. So there's a script to, it originally rotates whatever sprite or 3D object you have and then moves it along their z-axis. This is a 2D game using 3D because I'm still not really sure how to use the 2D stuff in Unity, so I just work in 3D. But it's going to look 2D with an orthographic camera, which just makes everything flat no matter how much depth there is. So with this, the update just checks the axis for vertical and horizontal. That's your WASD keys. It could also be your pushing up and down on your joystick or gamepad, and same with horizontal, so that's the AD. In Defender, you can move up and down, and then you can also move left to right, so that's what these are. So the first translation is actually the vertical, the Y translation, and then translation X is horizontal. And so you can see here, when you translate, you can translate on the x-axis, and you can translate on the y-axis is the middle one, and then we're not moving in and out in the depth, so that's 0 for the z-axis. We could probably do something with vector 2's instead of vector 3's, but we're just using vector 3's because I somehow understand 3D geometry better now than I do 2D, at least in Unity. Okay, so time delta time, that just kind of slows down how fast your object moves and make sure it goes along with the frame rate. And then this variable isn't used anymore, but speed variable is used. So this just moves it along the x-axis and also the y-axis. Make it go up and down and left and right. But if you pick up off the key, it just stops the ship. We could add momentum and things like that, but I haven't done that yet. And then there's also a check for the fire button, and in Unity you can set up certain buttons and they have names and they become universal. So a fire button can be, I think it's like left control or left command on the Mac, and then it's the left mouse button, and it's one of the fire buttons on a joystick or a gamepad. So it basically means like controls will work across the board. But if you do like a certain keyboard command, then if it's always going to be you have to press spacebar to fire, then if your player wants to use a gamepad, it won't work. So this is a way to ensure that whatever input the person prefers, they can use. If they just like keyboard, they can probably just use keyboard unless you have mouse look. But or if you like shooting with the mouse, I really like shooting with the mouse, even if I'm using the keyboard to control my game. So that allows for that. This basically just creates a laser. This is the laser prefab. And then I have like a little game object on the end of the spaceship that kind of where the laser comes out, and then it just shoots in the same direction as the player. So we'll build this sometime. I'll make a tutorial about how to do a spaceship controller. This is sloppy, but I'm just showing off what I'm doing right now. SU camera follow. I was super lazy, so instead of writing my own camera script, although I probably will write one because this is a little too much for this, but I've been using this SU camera follow for my Space Wars 3D game, and basically it just makes the camera follow the player's spaceship, usually from behind, and looks pretty cool. However, I just tossed it into this 2D game to see if it would work, and it did. I think I probably messed with it somewhere in here. I did mess with it. I changed it so that so I use this chase mode, and in here it says if the value, if the target, so if the spaceship, your player spaceship's Y is less than 0, you just want to stop the camera from moving, and I'll show you that in a second. Basically, I don't want the camera to go below the ground, so the camera kind of like loses focus on the player vertically when they get too low. That way, it just shows them crash into the ground, but doesn't move the camera below the the level design. So it's not you're not seeing like weird blank canvas below the mountains when there should probably be more mountains down there, but I'm not going to make infinite amounts of mountains just to move the player around. Anyway, I'll show that in a second. Missile controller or laser controller, this just controls the lasers that are shot. So every laser has this controller attached to it, and all it does is say move forward. Right now it actually just moves to the right, so this will have to change because as you saw in the YouTube video, Defender, you can move left and right, you don't just move right. So right now it's very simple. I'm just testing things out and can look. So on to the cool stuff. This is my Unity setup. It's I think I just call it Mike. Yeah, it's similar. Okay, but I just messed this up. Can I edit undo? Nope. Alright, let's see if I can figure out how to. Yeah, here we go. So this is my game here. You can see it's actually in 3D. So this is my Pro Builder stuff here. I just created a cube and kept expanding it and changing the things to make them look like mountains, but it's really a 3D background. Oops. So let's see here. There we go. Okay, so everything's actually in 3D. The player objects are cubes, but you only see them from the front, and when orthographic is when orthographic is enabled, it just sticks them in there. So, and it looks like this down here in game mode. And I'll just play it. Oh, okay. Oops. So right now, it just looks like this. So, I mean, it's definitely different from regular Defender. You can see I was talking about the camera. The camera gets to a certain point, the player just goes down, but the camera stays. When it goes up, you can go up. And we'll put a limit on the upper too. I've been playing around with camera effects. So this camera effect, there's motion blur and then also camera glow. I don't know if I like it yet, kind of hurts my eyes. But I do like the idea of everything glowing, kind of giving it a different style than the original Defender. So this is going to be a bad guy. Right now the AI doesn't do anything, but these are my glowing lasers. You can see they shoot out of the front, and I can shoot as many as I want right now, as fast as I can hold down the thing. But they glow. It's kind of cool, and so we probably want to move this, make this go faster, but eventually they'll just be ridiculously hard bad guys, and the player will flip back and forth. I originally made this triangle as like a top-down game. I was thinking about remaking like a real Space Invaders, but then I thought everyone does Space Invaders, why not do Defender? Much cooler. So this is all we got so far. So you can see I've already got lasers. I can move up and down. I can go past this ground. Eventually, the original Defender, when you got to the end of the map, you just looped. I'll have to figure out if there's a good way to do that with this. Who knows if there is a way to loop easily on this, but I'll figure that out. Let's see, what else can I show you here? Well, there's this, which is nothing. We can probably delete it. And so let's see, the player ship has a gun on it. It's just an empty game object. The player ship itself has a material. Also, I made all the materials white. That way I could color them however I wanted. So right now this is the bright green, but I could make the character, as you can see down here, purple, blue, and that's something I could probably do with like in-game if I wanted to let the player customize their ship or something like that. Alien ship, same thing. They're white, but you can change them. So now this one's red, and I can